Sai Rajasthan Srimad Bhagavatam, Medicine, Satis Bhavaroga, Periodicity, Yes, suffering, being away from Krishna, and this Srimad Bhagavatam is the sun, the self-aware darkness, and the link of pleasure to Krishna. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Jnana Sarakaya Akhiramritam Nam Siddhartha Namaste Saraswati Devi Chapter 28, today, Kapila's instruction on devotional yoga. Kapila describes the process of Ashtanga yoga, which culminates realizing this is the soul in the heart. He gives an elaborate description.
Okay, now can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Your voice is much better now. Yeah, that's true. I was not able to hear that time. Okay. Can we start? Because I couldn't hear anything. I was wondering what was happening. Okay. Can we start reading, please? Thank you.
Kapila's instructions on devotional yoga. Kapila describes the process of Ashtanga yoga, which culminates in realizing the supersoul in the heart, of whom he gives an elaborate description. The next day, soon after sunrise, the maidens set up seats for Devahuti and Kapila on the palace veranda beneath a porch inlaid with many painted panels depicting Krishna's pastimes. They also spread out cushions on the mosaic terrace for Devahuti's girlfriends, who with their mistress waited expectantly for Kapila's return. Not far off, they saw a group of Brahmins performing a fire sacrifice. Soon they saw Kapila approaching, a broad smile lighting up his face as he spotted them eagerly waiting to greet him. When they were all once more settled, Devahuti expressed her desire to understand more about how to visualize the absolute truth. which her son had earlier mentioned. Kapila said, "My dear mother, I shall explain the process of Ashtanga Yoga, the aim of which is to concentrate the mind on Vishnu. Its 8 limbs are yama, niyam, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. By this practice, you will become joyful and make further progress towards realizing the Absolute. Firstly, I will explain yama and niyama. Yama means the prescriptions and niyama means prescribed duties. Let us start with the niyamas. If one identifies with the material body, he must perform the social and occupational duties prescribed in scriptures and avoid doing others' duties. One should be content with whatever comes without excessive work. He should find a self realized spiritual master, surrender to, and inquire from him about spiritual knowledge and practices. One should only engage in religious practices which lead to self realization and not those aimed at material progress. Also, one must eat frugally and live in a secluded place free of disturbance. Now, I will explain Yama. This includes non-violence, truthfulness, refraining from stealing, accepting the bare necessities of life, celibacy, austerity, cleanliness, study of authorized Vedic scriptures, worshipping the Lord's personal form, observing silence, or in other words, not discussing anything not related to spiritual life. Then one must practice asana, sitting postures, pranayama, breathing practices which regulate the vital air, and pratyahara, withdrawing the mind from the sense objects. All these practices help steady the mind so it can focus on the supersoul within the heart. Yogis then practice dharana or concentration. Usually they focus on mind on the 6 vital airs circulating in the body. While doing so, they meditate on Krishna's spiritual pastimes. This develops into meditation or dhyana, then into a state of total spiritual absorption known as samadhi. Somehow or other, the unburdened mind, which is attracted to sense enjoyment, must be trained to become absorbed in Krishna. The Ashtanga Yoga process achieves this by the methods I have just mentioned. However, samadhi can also be achieved by other processes. For example, in Bhakti Yoga, one can hear about the glorified Krishna and his pastimes and thus become absorbed in their thought. Devahuti was curious to learn more about the Ashtanga process. Kapila said, to practice asana, the yogi spreads a sheet of deer skin covered by kusha grass and a cotton cloth in a secluded and clean place. Then he adopts the swastikasana pose, which is the easiest sitting posture, and practices pranayam or the breathing exercise. These are puraka, breathing deeply, kumbhaka, holding the breath, and rachaka, exhaling. He can also revise this sequence by first exhaling, then holding the breath outside of him, then inhaling. These breathing techniques free the yogi of all mental agitation. Devoti raised her eyebrows. Mere breathing exercise could calm the mind? Kapila indicated the gold necklaces adorning Devahuti. Do you know how this gold was purified of all its original impurities? Devahuti shook her head. In their natural state, gold nuggets are alloyed with other metals. To purify the gold, the nuggets are placed into fire fan with air to increase the temperature. Pranayama works on the same principle. By utilizing their vital air, yogis can purify their mind of materialistic thoughts. Devahuti still could not understand. Kapila explained, according to Ayurveda, one physiological condition is maintained by three factors: kapha, pith, and vayu, phlegm, bile, and air. When these are out of balance, the mind feels disturbed. Pranayam corrects imbalances between them, thereby calming the mind. Practicing dharana or concentration stops the mind from thinking about sinful activities. By pratyahara, one withdraws from worldly association, and by dhyana or meditation on the Lord, one attains transcendence, where he is no longer attracted or repulsed by anything material. Dhyana is possible once the mind is purified of mundane thoughts. To execute it, one must concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed eyes and focus the mind on Vishnu's form. Kapila hesitated, wondering how to describe Vishnu's exquisite beauty. Standing up, he walked over to the edge of the veranda and looked out over the gardens, admiring the view. Tall trees lined the pathways, their fragrant blossoms swaying gently in the breeze. Beneath the veranda was a shimmering pond covered with red and blue lotuses. Rainbow-colored fish darted around their stems, and humming bees hovered over the flowers. Kapila sighed, appreciating how nature reflected Vishnu's beauty. He beckoned his mother to join him. When she was standing by his side, he pointed to the pond. Vishnu's smiling face reveals the beauty of those delightful lotus flowers. Their reddish tint resembles the ruddy tinge of his eyes, and his swarthy body is of the same hue and the blue lotus. In his four graceful hands, he holds a lotus, conch, discus, and mace. The saffron yellow filaments of the lotuses resemble the effulgent yellow color of his waistcloth. In the center of his chest is a curl of white hair known as Srivatsa. Around his neck hangs the brilliant Kaustubha gem and a garland of fragrant flowers, forest flowers surrounded by a swarm of bees. He is further adorned with a priceless pearl necklace, a crown, and a pair of armlets, bracelets, and anklets. His hips are encircled by a girdle, and he stands serenely on the lotus of his devotees' hearts, gladdening their eyes and minds. Vishnu is eternally youthful and beautiful. He is the Lord of everyone in the universe, and he is ever willing to bless his devotees. The devotees absorbed in glorifying Vishnu also become glorious. Therefore, Mother, it is recommended that one meditate on Vishnu himself and on his pure devotees. One should continue performing yoga until the mind never wavers even for a moment from his form. Because Vishnu's activities are so charming, the yogi becomes absorbed in seeing him with his eternal associates as he walks, talks, or even lies down. To cultivate an attraction for Vishnu's personal form, it is best to meditate upon him limb by limb rather than contemplating his whole body. One should first concentrate on his feet, whose soles are adorned with marks of a thunderbolt, gourd, banner, and lotus. His ruby-colored toenails are as bright as moonshine. This meditation frees the yogi from the ignorance and misery of material existence.
Okay, we'll pause there. Amazing, amazing description. And let's a little bit discuss about our meditation. So this is it's a question for yourself to answer for yourself. How well Are you able to meditate on the form of the Lord? And when we are doing deity worship, like personal service, that is very powerful, because if you're dressing the deity, you're making garlands with the deity, or you're doing arati, then we are focused, right? We're focused on the Lord, and we are constantly, when we go to darshan in the temple, we look at the Lord, and it's building a samskara that becomes the impression. So every single day we are doing service for the Lord, and we look at the Lord's beautiful face, and we are able to meditate on his beautiful form, Kamasundara form, the eternal form. And now there are different levels of that. One, we can do it in a very superficial level, like religious level. Oh yeah, I go to the temple. Yeah, I saw the deities. Right? Another level is, of course, to be able to act in ways and keep our thoughts and our consciousness and our activities in such a way that Krishna sees us. Point is not that we see the Lord. Whenever we go for darshan, it's not that we are looking Krishna. No. The thing is, Krishna, we go and present ourselves. We are servants of the Lord. Krishna Nityadas every day, regularly we go, stand in front of the Lord and say, here is your servant, my dear Krishna. Please engage me in your service. Just like when we chant, we ask the Lord to engage us in service. So we go and approach the Lord. We bow down and we say, Krishna, here I am, your servant. I'm present here to serve you. And that's why when we pay obeisances, we introduce ourselves, right? We say Guru Pranam. I'm the disciple of such and such Guru, and the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I'm in this line, I'm not like some stranger on the street who's come to knock on your door. I belong to the glorified parampara, sampradaya, right? So then we introduce ourselves. That's the first thing we do. We bow down, we recite Guru Mantra, we recite Prabhupada Mantra, and then Krishna was, oh, here is the lineage of Prabhupada, the servant. Hello, good morning. Hello, how are you? Of course, that's the higher level of approaching the Lord. And then there is the other way. There is a beautiful bhajan by Purandaradasa. It was like how a devotee finds Krishna everywhere. That's a higher level. ಹಲ ಪುಷ್ಪ ಬಳ್ಳಿಗಳ ಒಳಗೆ ಹರಿವ್ಯಾಪ್ತನೆಂದರಿತ ಬಗೆ ಆನಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪರಮಾನಂದ ಆನಂದನ ಕಂದ ನರಿಯೇ ಏನಂದತ್ತೆ ವೇದ ವೃಂದ. Says every step of the way, in every branch, in every twig. Every twig, when you look, I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at a plant here, and it's growing. And in every branch, in every twig, if we are able to see in that growth, oh my God, this Krishna element, the life, right? Life comes from the Lord. So in every flower, we see, oh my God, that flower has bloomed because the life of that flower is successful if I can offer it to the lotus feet of Krishna. And if we are able to connect in everything we see, in every step we take, how is that? In the bhajan it goes, another bhajan it says, ಕಣ್ಗಳಿದ್ಯಾತಕೋ ಕಾವೇರಿ ರಂಗನ ನೋಡದ ಜಗಂಗಳೊಳಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ಮೂರುತಿ ರಂಗನ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದಂಗಳ ನೋಡದ. So what's the use of having our senses, like our eyes, if we do not engage it in worshipping the form of the Lord by watching the form of the Lord and nourishing that particular sense with the Lord's form? Like that, what's the use of the feet that doesn't actually walk to the temple? What's the use of the hand that doesn't engage in service, right? So there is the other level where we are able to see Krishna everywhere, and then whenever we are not doing service, we actually immediately become aware, oh my God, right now this thought is not Krishna conscious. I need to bring it back to Krishna. Or right now my hands are not engaged in service. Let me engage it in Krishna's service. Right now, I'm walking here and there. I'm not going to the temple. I'm not going to the holy places. Let me walk to the holy place. So there is the two sides, right? Not to do means not to engage your senses in nonsensical activities, and to engage your senses in proper activities. But the higher level is, it is said that sadhanada chinte yanage takko deva ನಡೆವುದೇ ಯಾತ್ರೆಯು ನುಡಿವುದೇ ಸ್ತೋತ್ರವು ಬಿಡದೆ ನೋಡುವುದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಸಾಧನದ ಚಿಂತೆ ನನಗೆ ತಕೋ ದೇವ. This is a very, very high level, advanced level, is like bhava level. So what happens in bhava level is that you're not worried about your sadhana, because every nadevude yatrayu, every step you're taking is yatra. There's only pilgrimage. You have no other desires left. You're only taking pilgrimage. Nudivude stotravu, whatever you're speaking is only stotras, is you're only reciting Krishna conscious subject matters. You're only reciting devotees, glorifying the form of the Lord. You have nothing else to speak about. Your tongue is just not engaged in any other, you don't have any other desires, and therefore you're not engaged in anything. So what happens is that your life and your existence itself becomes a sadhana. Wow, what a state to be, right? So that is the state where we are consistent in our consciousness, that we are Krishna's. Krishna is mine. Every activity of mine is aligned to Krishna's will. And then there is no doubt. There is no question of uncertainty. There's no question of fear. There's no question of selfishness. There's no question of resentment, because everything is aligned to Krishna's will. So then what happens is your actions are aligned to Krishna's will. And then you're completely in alignment. And you're only there is everything you do becomes sadhana. Everything is so beautiful. And then wow, Krishna empowers, right? Like Srila Prabhupada. Krishna empowered Srila Prabhupada, even in such an advanced age, where we already complain in our 30s and 40s, oh my back, oh my this, oh my knees, oh I have this problem, I can't stay too long here and I can't sit there. But Srila Prabhupada, in that very advanced age, Srila Prabhupada he was empowered, because he was in that state. Everything he was thinking was meditation on the Lord. Everything he was doing, he was engaged, and he was showing it, right? You remember when he lost his business, how much Prabhupada struggled to write, to go and try to distribute those books, took his words of the spiritual master very seriously. And he went to Indira Gandhi and asked her for Indira Gandhi, and asked her for a bunch of things. And then he went to the shipping company for the ticket on the ship to go to America. So much Krishna was glorifying his devotee by showing how a devotee is life existence itself is a sadhana. So everything Prabhupada was doing, it's not that he was just waiting, I'll be empowered and one day I'll speak and then thousands of disciples will appear. No, he was setting example. What does it mean to engage every day? What does it mean to engage every sense in service of the Lord? So Krishna, he loves to glorify his devotees. And that's why he puts the devotees through difficulty, because then we will talk about the difficulty for such a long time and glorify that devotee. So Krishna puts them through that and gives them the strength to overcome. That's one of my prayers every morning. I pray asking the Lord to remove my character defects, so that the victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of Krishna's power, Krishna's love, and Krishna's way of life, the Krishna's way of life. So we pray to the Lord not for our personal comfort. Why I want my character defects to be removed, not so that I can enjoy my life in peace or something. I want my character defects to be removed so that I'll be an inspiration for others to follow Krishna consciousness, that I'll be an example of a devotee who has struggles, who went through the struggles and bring faith in the people's hearts. Okay, so that's the point. It's not about me becoming perfect by getting rid of bad qualities and becoming good, and not for our enjoyment. It's meant for inspiring faith in other people's heart. The same thing with Prabhupada. Why he had to go through all those difficulties? Well, so that Krishna can show us how to have faith. Krishna can show us what a great devotee is ready to do for him, like that. And nobody's asking us to take a cargo ship to anywhere to preach. All we need to do is sit in front of the computer, log in, and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, be there, inspire each other. Okay. Anyway, those are my thoughts about this reading. And if you have any comments or questions, now is the right time. Please inspire us. Please give us your mercy. do some service by sharing your realizations. It's powerful. Anything? I hope you were able to hear me. I'm doubtful if you heard me or not. Hi, Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
No, the realization is really amazing. The way you said to ask Krishna, but many a times, like, we are not tuned in that way to ask to remove the defects or our characters. And we are just, now we have to channelize ourselves in a proper way to ask such prayers.
Oh, it's a practice, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a
I mean,
practice.
the full prayer is like, I usually say, Dear Narasimha, because he's very good at removing anarthas. Dear Lord Narasimha, I offer myself to you, the good and the bad. Please remove every single character defect that gets in the way of my service to you and your devotees. And please remove every character defect so that the victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. So it's a prayer of declaration that Krishna, I'm yours. Krishna, I'm yours, and please take me. And then, of course, Krishna doesn't take impure things. So Krishna, I'm filled with some impurities. Please clean it. Not clean it because I want to enjoy, but clean it so that other people that I'm with, they can see that my impurities were cleaned and how Krishna conscious process works. There is another bhajan I remembered. It says, let me see if I remember exactly the words. It says like, if you don't protect me, then what kind of patita pavana are you, right? Like our acharya is also saying that. Or if I'm the most fallen and I've come to you for shelter, and if you don't protect me, what kind of reputation you will have, Krishna? Like that. Also our South Indian Purandara Dasa, the Acharya saints, also sing similarly. If you do not take care of me, if you don't protect me, then it will be such a shame, such a shame, because I will be such a failure, and people will say, see, this devotee has become a failure. It's not good for your reputation, Krishna. So that's why you should what is that song? I can't remember the words exactly. It's a whole big song, and in the middle that line comes where they're saying, like, Krishna, it's a song about Balaji, it's a song about Srinivasa. ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯು ನೀನೇ ಬಂದು ಬಳಗು ಎಂದೆಂದಿಗೂ ನಿನ್ನ ನಂಬಿದೆನೋ ಕೃಷ್ಣ. I have put my faith in you, my Lord. You're my father, you're my mother. ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ನೀನೇ ಪಾಲಿಸೋ, ಶ್ರುತಜನ ಪಾಲ ಗಾನಲೋಲ ಶ್ರೀ ಮುಕುಂದನೇ. And then it says, so, I mean, the song is very humble. It says, ಅನುದಿನ ಅನೇಕ ರೋಗಗಳ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದೆನೋ ಘನ ಮಹಿಮ ನೀನೇ ಬಲ್ಲೆಯ. ತನುವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಲವಿಲ್ಲ ನೆನೆದ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಲಹು, ಸೃಷ್ಟೀಶ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ನೀ ಕೈಯ ಪಿಡಿದು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ನೀನೇ ಪಾಲಿಸೋ. So this is another version of the similar mood, but the song is like very humble. It says, Krishna, Srinivasa, you are my only shelter. Please, protect me and help me grow. I am every day suffering from one disease or another, and one addiction or another, and I am slipping off, and I'm not able to do perfection of sadhana. ಅನುದಿನ ಅನೇಕ ರೋಗಗಳ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದೆನೋ ಘನಮಹಿಮ ನೀನೇ ಬಲ. And you know my mind, you know my situation, you know my life problems. ತನುವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಲವಿಲ್ಲ. Tanu means body. I don't have strength in my body to do all these austerities that the acharyas did and all that is recommended in the scriptures. Nenida matradi salahua. But you are amazing, Lord, that can justify our intentions. Just by me thinking about you, you can you can nourish me, you can protect me, you can help me grow. So please, accept my thoughts as my worship, as my prayer. Please, pray, please. Like that. I know it's a song of admitting our weaknesses, not just there's so many levels of weakness, right? Bodily level weakness, mentally level weakness, service level weakness. There's always, we feel that inadequacy, that I want to be doing better, I want to do more, and I'm not able to, like that. So this is admittance, a declaration that even if I'm weak, Krishna, my weakness and strength both are yours. Savitri Mataji often says that, like, once you sell the house to somebody, you're not thinking, oh, that brick is broken, that tile is broken, that thing is broken. Once you sold the house, you give the keys, it's the other person's. So when you give yourself to Krishna, the good and the bad both belong to Krishna. It's only the willingness to say, Krishna, you do with me whatever it is that you want, because I want to be an example for others, and that bhakti yoga is my path. And then of course, higher levels, there is like Acharya say, look, if you make me look weak, if you make me look like a failure, it's not very good for your reputation, Krishna. so please, I'll try to remember that particular song. It's a whole song, and I look at the whole song and I'll remember that particular line where it says that part.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I want to play Krishna. Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
I love that. I was just listening to this group, the Shanagati song, in which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking about the 6 limbs of surrender, and she's talking that Gupta right? That means just like how the calf is maintained, like that, Krishna, you will always maintain a devotee. Krishna completely takes charge, so he will not allow us devotees to become a failure. Right? It's always.
Sorry, Tarunya, I can't hear you clearly. Can you speak a little, like, close to the mic and repeat what you just said?
I was just trying to say, like, how Krishna will not allow his devotees to become a failure. He'll always protect, like the 6 limbs of surrender, which one of the limbs is Krishna. Krishna. That means he will surely protect. He is our maintainer. He is gonna surely protect us. Just by having faith in that, right? There is so much of peace of mind. Like Krishna is our maintainer. He is our protector. He'll never let us go. So that much faith if a devotee has, right? There'll always be reciprocation according to our own faith. That's how Krishna reciprocates. So unless we have that faith, right, it's difficult for us to see his hands in every aspect of our life. So by really understanding that there is no other shelter other than him,
There is no other master other than Krishna. Unless we understand that wholly, fully, then only we'll be able to experience His mercy, His protection, and His maintenance.
Beautiful point. Thank you.
Madhuri, I would like to add something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another thing is sincerity.
Mm.
So it means to serve Krishna only with the motive to please Him. So the pure motive is the most fundamental and emotional quality of bhakti also. I may have personal desires, I may have anarthas, I may have failed in the past, but I have to think about how I became a devotee. I have to remember all the events that enabled me to become a devotee. And I have to see Krishna's hand in all of this. I have to meditate on it. And I have to see how this arrangement Krishna has made to keep me in this Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So
Mm.
my Guru Maharaj says it is my sincerity that brought me to Krishna consciousness. And it is my sincerity that will keep me in Krishna consciousness. So this is what I believe in.
Mm.
And with this thing in mind, I have to keep, going forward always.
Very nice.
This is
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So we will conclude for today, and then we'll continue this 28th chapter tomorrow. And let's keep questioning ourselves if every action, everything we are doing, we're able to meditate on the form of the Lord, and maybe try to add in one more service which helps us to think of the Lord more often. Like today, I'm going to bring some specific flowers with which we're going to make some things for Panchatattva and also Radha Madhava. It's a particular flower that remains fresh for 3-4 days. And so we're going to start making certain complicated jewelry things for Radharani starting today. And then we'll be waiting for it to go on Radharani in 2 days. So yeah, preparing, I'm learning to make like different things, different crafts with flowers and using ribbons and making designs like that. And yeah, that's a form of worshipping the Lord and the Lord's form, meditating on the Lord's form. So you can do that for your home deities or temple deities. You can start making some jewelry or something for the Lord near your temple, and you can bring it whenever you go next time. You can buy beads on Amazon or something. I bought different colored beads, like golden color beads of different things like heart and butterflies and elephants and kurma, like different fish and different nice beautiful things that can make some jewelry. And uh, even I bought some flowers, like artificial type of flowers with which I made some crown for Radharani, and I didn't know if they'd put it, but there it was. Radharani was wearing it yesterday, so it's amazing. It's amazing. The feeling is
Today is
amazing.
Ekadashi and also Julan Yatra starting off today.
I'm not sure about the July Yatra. I
Yes,
need to check.
yes,
Okay,
today.
wonderful. Jai. So Ekadashi, yeah, that's
Yeah,
another
today.
important day to remember the Lord's mercy upon us and reduce our cooking programs and then think more about the Lord. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
See you